Hello, YouTube. How are you doing today? Yes, we are back here with technically a similar review, but it's the same knife. But I actually pulled down the last video because I contacted KNAFS to show them my review, and they had some very nice, honest feedback. And one of the things that they feedbacked was that I actually had a couple wrong specs. And I believe the website that I bought it from may have had the wrong specs. I'm not 100% sure, but they reminded me that in here they actually have the correct specs all listed out. So I should have looked at that beforehand. But what do we have here? We have the KNAFS Lander 1. And I call it the Lander 1 because there is now a second Lander. This was just the original Lander before, but now this is the Lander 1 in the 14C28N with the nice green micarta scales, liner lock, which is absolutely great, deep carry pocket clip, and ceramic caged ball bearings. That's where I was wrong the last time. I thought there were washers. There are actually ball bearings in there, which is awesome. Now, this is a smaller knife, but it is not to be underestimated in any way. The box, you get a basic box, but that is in no way bad, because what I like is they give you extra hardware for, so it's like, okay, I'd rather have a not as fancy of a box if I'm going to get extra hardware. Plus, they give you tons of maintenance tips and how to do stuff. They talk about all the screws that are in here. Everything's a T6. The pivot's a T8. How to clean, limited warranty, everything that you need to know about the knife and how to do it. Yes, this has what they call a quick changing scales. Now, what does that mean? That means that if you remove these two screws and obviously the pocket clip and remove these two screws, you can quickly take off these scales and put on a different set of scales. Now, for overall dimensions on this, we have, you could see there, blade length is roughly 2.75. The overall is 6.5. The close length is 3.6. And you got about 2.4 ounces, obviously. Very thin behind the edge. They are a great starter to intermediate knife, as well as, honestly, even if you're a guy who just likes knives, this is a great option. 14C28N, so obviously it's going to sharpen back very easily. It keeps a very nice razor sharp edge to it, cuts very nice. Now, 3.6 inches, you'd think, oh, that's a little bit small, but believe it or not, I have extra large hands, and it fits in my hands amazing. Put my thumb right there, and it fits in my hand, no issue. As you could tell, I'm actually a righty, but with my left hand, it's just easier to see. You could see where my fingers lie on the hand, if I flip it over. Now, this knife is made by QSP, and there's nothing wrong with that. Technically, I like QSP knives. I think they're great, but this doesn't feel like a QSP, which is, in my opinion, a good thing. QSP feel good, but they're built nicely, but they're not for me. I don't know what it is. I've tried many different ones. They're great knives, but this feels solid. This just feels like a solid workhorse of a knife that just wants to cut, it wants to slice, it wants to be in your pocket. The liner lock is nice and easy to get to. The cage ball bearings are nice. The detent on this is, let's see it. Great. Let's do some overall lengths. So with the blade open, we'll put it up against the Native 5. As you could see, the actual handle itself is shorter than a Native 5, but the blade cutting length is actually very similar to a Native 5. That's the one thing that's a good and bad about a Native 5, is that you really only get this much for cutting length, even though they talk about the full 3-inch blade, but we're not going to get into that. Against the ProTech Malibu, definitely a smaller knife than the Protect Malibu. Against the Benchmade Bug Out, which everyone says this knife reminds them of the Benchmade Bug Out. I don't think it does, which is fine with me, because I think I think they're each their own knives, and I wouldn't want it to be like the Benchmade Bug Out, because I have a Benchmade Bug Out for the reasons of a Benchmade Bug Out. Trying to see if I have anything else that we could compare it to. Oh yes, the Sharpie. We will compare it to the Sharpie. As you can see, it's not much bigger than a Sharpie, which is nice. Even closed lengthwise, it's not much bigger than a Sharpie. Thickness of knife against the Benchmade Bug Out, because the Benchmade Bug Out's actually a very thin knife. You could tell it's not much thicker than that. If you put it up against the Protect Malibu as thickness wise, the Protect Malibu is thicker. So you're in between a Malibu and a Bug Out, and then the Native 5 with the G10 scales. Definitely is similar, but I would definitely say the Lander is a little bit skinnier. It's hard to mesh them up because of the roundness. Carry profile wise, obviously this is much skinnier compared to the Bug Out. Your give and take about the same as the Bug Out, which is not bad. Like I said, those bearings, I did get that wrong last time, but the knife works amazing. Got a deep carry pocket clip with recessed screws, which is very nice. In the pocket, this is how it's going to look. Now, the one thing I was a little concerned about with the pocket clip is how deep carry it is, because I've actually had a different knife where the pocket clip was so deep carry that your jeans or whatever your pocket was would actually fold over the top of the knife right here and actually make it harder to come out. I can say with confidence that this does not do it. So it's a nice deep carry pocket clip without having that issue going in and out of your pocket. One other thing that I love about this, and the reason why one of the biggest things I bother me about QSPs is their thumb studs, and this thumb studs are beautiful. These thumb studs remind me a lot of the Benchmade thumb studs, which is probably one of my favorite thumb studs out there. There are some good ones out there, but I really like the Benchmade ones. As you can see, they're both they're similar, but not bad at all, and I like that a lot. This is a great knife. The micarta feels smooth, but not like this is a G10 smooth. I mean, if you could tell, I mean, this is supposed to be a smooth G10, but this definitely has more texture than that. This is another G10. This has definitely got more grip than that. So it's enough grip where I don't feel like I'm going to lose the knife in my hand, but not enough grip where I feel like my hand is getting worn out from holding the knife. Let me know what you guys think about the Lander down below. Like, comment, subscribe. I think this is a great knife. This is great for a gift, a beginner, or anybody. There is the D2 version, which the D2 version, I love D2, but I really want to give 14C28N more of a chance, because a lot of knives have D2, and there's nothing wrong with that. I've used a lot of D2, and I figure it was time for giving more 14C28N a chance. Anyways, guys, take care, enjoy, like, comment, subscribe, go check out KNAFS, and be safe.